Dear children, welcome to the social class. How are you all, children? Bless you all in the name of Lord Almighty, children. Children, you must have the habit of praying daily. Prayer brings victory in your life. Shall we enter the class? Yes. Just recall what we have learned in History Unit 2 from trade to territory. So far, you have learned 70% of this lesson. First, we have learned Battle of Plassey and Buxar, which was happened in the year 1757 and 1764. And next, we learned Carnatic Wars, a series of war. 3 wars were happened from 1746 to 1763. Both the wars gave victory to the British, and the British people, those who came to India for trading purpose, now they started administering Bengal. And the next place they concentrated is Mysore, which was ruled by Hyder Ali, followed by his son Tipu Sultan, and 4 Anglo-Mysore wars were fought from 1767 to 1799. In all the wars, first 2 wars, Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan, they got victory. But the 3rd and 4th Anglo-Mysore wars, it was a success to the British people. They got victory over Mysore, and the great enemies were died, and the British got success over the war. And next to the Anglo-Maratha wars, Marathas, who were the rulers of the Bombay territory, and 3 Marathas were fought from 1775 to 1818. In that also, the British defeated the Maratha people. The great leaders of Maratha were defeated by them. Peshwaship in Maratha was abolished by the British, and finally Maratha also came under the control of the British. All these things you have learned in the previous classes. After the Battle of Plassey and Buxar, Carnatic Wars, and victory over Mysore and Maratha, British people, they laid a strong foundation for their administration in India. In this class, we are going to see about the British administrative organization in India. The British administrative organization in India. So it consists of 4 principal institutions, people. One is civil service, army, police, and judiciary. Let us see about the civil service schemes introduced by British people in India. Have you heard about the civil service examinations? Suppose if you want to get a government job, if you want to be a collector or a police officer or a professor, government college professors or teachers, what you have to do? Or if you want to be a tahsildar, you have to write the civil service examinations. At present, they are written in the name TNPSC, Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission for our state. And for central government also, we have separate service commissions to conduct the test. So, if you want to get a government job, you must pass a test which was conducted by the Civil Service Commission. That civil services in India was first time introduced by the East Indies companies. Especially it was introduced to distinguish between the civil employees from their military counterparts. So the first time who introduced the civil service in India? By the English East India Company. So it was firstly commercially in nature. Later it was transformed into the public service, which was followed till today. We are also following that as the Public Service Commission also. The civil servants are indulged in corruption, bribery, and illegal activities, especially who are involved in the private trade. So Lord Cornwallis, he wanted to put on rules against the private trade. For that purpose, he paid the highest salary to the civil servants, those who were selected under the civil service examination. Following Lord Cornwallis, Lord Wellesley, who came to India as the Governor General in 1798, he also introduced the civil servants in India. In 1800, Lord Wellesley, he established a college at Fort William in Calcutta, especially to train our people in literature, science and languages, because at that Indian people were lacking in education. So British people, they thought that if they want to appoint Indian people in their company, they must be improve in their literature, science and also in languages. So for that purpose, a college was started by Lord Wellesley in Fort William, Calcutta in the year 1800. And also in England at a place called Galesbury in England in 1806, an Indian college was, East India College was established. And in 1833, in the England government, they passed a Charter Act for the first time in India, to make changes in the Indian administration. And they made the Court of Directors for Competitive Examination. That is a Public Service Commission examination. They are conducted as the nomination examination and also as the competitive system. Now also today also we are writing like that only. So many people for writing competitive examinations to obtain the government job. In 1853, the examination was introduced in India, and in 1858 the Government of India Act was passed and it was confirmed the examination. But the British, they decided to conduct the examination in England. So the East India College at Aylesbury in 1858, the recruitment service examination was held at England. And they fixed the age for that. First 22 was the age fixed. Later on in 1866, the age was reduced to 21, and in 1876, the age was reduced to 19. Where did the examinations held? In India or in England? First it started in India, but no examination was held in India. The examinations were held at England. In which college? It was held at the Aylesbury College in England, which was started in the year 1806. But the examinations were started in 1858. What was the minimum age fixed at the beginning? 22. Later on, it was reduced to 19 at the year 1876. For the first time, the Indian Civil Service Act 1861 was passed by the British Parliament, where they decided to conduct the test in London. Only 3 Indians from India, they attended a test. The 3 Indians, those who attended a test in 1869 were Surendranath Banerjee, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, Vikhari Lal Gupta, who were the persons who attended the civil service examination successfully at the first time. Surendranath Banerjee, Ramesh Chandra Dutt and Vikhari Lal Gupta. Good. In short form, it is called as ICS examination, Indian Civil Service Examination. And the first person who successfully passed that exam was Satyendranath Tagore. Do you know, have you remembered the Tagore name? Yes, Rabindranath Tagore, who was the author of our national anthem. His elder brother was Satyendranath Tagore. He was the first Indian to pass the ICS examination in the year 1863. And later on, the Indian demanded to increase the age limit because at the age of 19, it was impossible for them to complete the education. So once again, the age was maximized to 21 and again to 23 in the year 1892. And so many commissions were appointed to improve the Civil Service Commission examination. Some of the commissions were in 1992 Royal Commission on Public Service, which was appointed, and also it was led by Lord Islington. And in 1917, an important commission which was known as the Montagu-Chelmsford Commission, which is one of the important famous commission in India, that is led by G.K. Kogle and Sri Abdur Rahim of Indians, and all other, they are combined by 4 Englishmen, and they form lot of rules and regulations to conduct the Indian Civil Service examination. And in 1918, again Montagu-Chelmsford Commission recommended that 33% of the Indians should be recruited for the Indian Civil Commission. And in 1923, once again Royal Commission on Public Service, it was appointed by Lord Lee of Fareham as a chairman. And so many changes were made by the establishment of many commissions. And the Act of 1935, it also made provisions for the establishment of a Federal Public Service Commission at the central government level and the provincial government level. Provincial means now we are calling as a state government. At that time it was known as the provincial government. So many commissions were appointed to make improvement in the Civil Service Commission. The main aim of this measure was to serve the British interest, and it became the basis for the civil service system in independent India. So the civil service system, which was one of the first instrument taken by the British for their administrative organization in India, and it was developed from 1798 to till 1945. So many changes made by so many governor generals like Lord Cornwallis, Lord Wellesley, etc. And so many commissions and acts were passed by the British government, and establishment of colleges at Fort William and also at the England. And the main education was given to the Indian people to train them to attend the civil service examination. The first 3 people who attended that were the Surendranath Banerjee, Ramesh Chandra Dutt and Vikhari Lal Gupta, and who succeeded in first to pass the ICS examination in 1863 was Satyendranath Tagore. Who was he? He was the elder brother of poet Rabindranath Tagore. The second important pillar of the British administration in India was army people. So they gave more importance for construction of army and recruiting of the army. So the army people are known by the name Chippewas. It was known as a Chippewa army, and the important features of the Chippewa army under British was they were well trained and also disciplined. Discipline is the important one in all of our life. If you are well disciplined, automatically your career will be good and your attitude will be good, your character will be good. So a disciplined life lead to a successful life. So people be disciplined in your life. Okay, the success of the British army in India was they were not only well trained, they were well disciplined, and the military standards are commanded by the European officers. All the commanders of the British were only the European officers, and they had 3 presidencies at Bengal, Bombay and in Madras. And Indian soldiers were also appointed under the British army, but they were very less paid compared to the English soldiers. If you see in 1857, the Indian army consists of 86% of the total strength by the Indian soldiers. And in 1856, only 3 Indians in the army, they are getting that 300 rupees per month as a salary. But all the highest posts in the Indian army are reserved to the English people. And the strength of the army differs comparing 1857 when the Battle of Plassey occurred in the year 90. The European army, it consists of many Indian people in their army. But after the revolt, great revolt happened in 1857. Later on we will study about that. After the revolt of 1857, the important changes made in the Indian army, that is, most of the Indian people were removed from the Indian army under the British, and only the English people were appointed for that after the great revolt of 1857. So which was the second important pillar of the British administration in India? Their army. Was their army a good disciplined and well trained one? Yes. Why we have to give importance for discipline in our life? Discipline makes us a successful person. That was followed by the British people in their army. And who were the commanders? Were the Indian people or the English people? The Indian people were appointed as the commanders in the battlefield. The highest posts were only given to the English people. But the Indian people also recruited for the army only for the lower posts. Were the Indian people paid well? No. They got very less salary. Only 300 rupees per month was got by them as the salary. But till 1857, many Indians were appointed in the English army. But later on that, after the revolt of 1857, there was a great change that increased the British troops, reduced the Indian troops. Troops means the group of soldiers are known by the name troops. Only English people are appointed in the British army. The third important organization taken by the British in India was the organization of police department. So still 1765, the Mughals were popular in India. Under them, the police were under the control of Faujidas, and they ruled the Sarkars, which are called as the rural districts. Sarkars mean the rural districts are known by the name Sarkars under the Mughals. And who were the charge of the police system under the Mughals? They are called by the name Faujidas. Okay, and the Faujidas were under the control of the Jamindars. So when the British took over the administration in its hand, the police system in India was created by Lord Cornwallis. He relieved all the Jamindars from the police functions, and he took over the police administration in his hand in the year 1791. Who took over the administration of police in his hand? Lord Cornwallis. He established the circles, not circles in mathematics. They are called by the name Thanas. Thanas mean we are calling as talukas. Have you heard the word? India, a country divided into different states, and each state is further divided into districts. Districts are further divided into corporations are further divided into taluks. Good. The taluks in British time were known by the name Thanas, and in each Thana it was headed by a Taroga, a police officer. Okay, and the police officer, what's his duty means? Police duties in the villages, and also Chowkidas also appointed by them. They also look after the police system. The Taroga system came to Madras in the year 1802. But later on, the modern system of police departments was introduced in India after the whole administration was divided into district. And who was the in charge of the police in charge of a district? Do you know that? Superintendent of Police, SP, you may hear. The highest authority of police in each district is SP of the police. When you are saying about the word SP, that is a very magnificent one, powerful position. So in 1808, SP was appointed in each division of India by the British. What's the expansion of SP? Superintendent of Police. And DSP is also there. That's a Deputy Superintendent of Police. And these police departments was made under the control of the district collector, who had the task of controlling the police force. The main task of the police force was two things. One is to handle crime, and another one is to prevent conspiracy. Conspiracy means any secret alignment against the British by any of the Indian ruler or any of the public people. That is the important thing. They are acting as a spy to the British people, police department. What are the two important things assigned to the police? They have to handle the criminal activities, that is called as crime. And another thing is they want to prevent the conspiracy made by any of the enemies of the British people. Another important change brought by the British in Indian administration was the judicial system. Judicial system is also very important for a country's maintenance of law and order. How the army is protecting us, how police force is protecting the army and law and order. Like the same judicial system is very important to protect the law and order of a nation. So in 1772, the dual government, which was introduced by Robert Clive in Bengal, came to an end. Dual government, the Nawab and also the company were taking the controlling of the law and order. But by 1772, it was came to an end by the English East India Company. Dual government was abolished. And the two important departments of a judicial system were civil and criminal. You may hear that if your father is a lawyer or if your uncle or any of the relatives may be a lawyer, you ask them what is the case you are dealing with, what lawyer you are. They may say that I am dealing with civil cases or I am dealing with criminal cases. Or sometimes I am a civil and criminal cases, both I am dealing with, like that they may answer. But there are two departments were there which are called by different names, Diwani Adalat and Faujdari Adalat. Diwani Adalat is to deal with civil cases and Faujdari Adalat to deal with criminal cases. Both Adalat means court, were established in Bengal. In 1773, a regulating act was passed by the British government to make some changes in the Indian judicial department. What was the act passed by the British government to make changes in the Indian judiciary? The Regulating Act of 1773. According to that, a Supreme Court was set up at Calcutta. Supreme Court means the highest apex in the judicial system. Till in India, we have the Supreme Court. Where is the Supreme Court located? It is in New Delhi. This is the highest apex in our judicial system. Like the same, by the Regulating Act of 1773, a Supreme Court was set up in Calcutta. And with one Chief Justice and 3 judges were appointed by the Crown of the British. Who was the first Chief Justice of Supreme Court in India? You know that? He was Sir Elijah Impey. Sir Elijah Impey was the first Chief Justice of Supreme Court, which was appointed at Fort William in Bengal. And in Tamil Nadu, the first Chief Justice of the Madras High Court. High Courts were later on established by the British government in Madras, Bombay and Calcutta. In Tamil Nadu, in Madras High Court, the first Indian Chief Justice was Sir Thiruvarur Muthuswamy. And Sir Elijah Impey was the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in Bengal. And along with him, how many judges were appointed? 3 judges were appointed. And what they deal with? They deal with civil, criminal and also the administrative cases. And on the model of the Supreme Court of Calcutta, a Supreme Court was also set up in Madras and also in Bombay. It was set up in Madras in the year 1801 and in Bombay in the year 1823. And in 1832, Lord William Bentinck started the jury system in Bengal. A law commission was established by him. Who established the law commission in India? Lord William Bentinck. We are very interesting to learn about Lord William Bentinck. We will learn about him in the next lessons. He was one of the Governor General, British Governor General in India, who took lot of efforts to improve the Indian society. He did lot of the welfare measures for the Indian people. Okay, so here Lord William Bentinck, he started the jury system in India by forming a law commission. A rule of law was established for the whole empire. For the whole empire means for whole British Empire in India. Till today we are following that. For whole India we are having the one law, rule of one law for established for the whole Indian country. So according to the Indian High Courts Act 1861, 3 high courts were set up in Calcutta, Bombay and Madras in the place of the old Supreme Courts. Supreme Courts were replaced by High Courts Act which was passed in the year 1861. And where are the high courts established? Kolkata, Bombay and Madras. So when the high court was established in Madras, who was appointed as the first Indian chief justice there? Sir Thiruvarur Muthuswamy. But who was appointed as the first chief justice of Supreme Court? Sir Elijah Impey. So the four important administrative organizations taken by the British were civil service, army, police and judicial system. Okay children, concluding this session, what we have learned. Just recap that. The British administrative organization in India, it has four principal institutions. What are the four principal institutions? Civil services, army, police and judiciary. In civil services, it was started as a commercial one. Later on, it was made into a public service commission. Lord Cornwallis, Lord Wellesley, all of the people, they took lot of efforts for introducing civil service examination in India. A college was made by Lord Wellesley at Fort William, Calcutta. And also for Indian people, there was a college made in England in 1806 at Galesbury. And in the Charter Act of 1833, it formed the conducting of the civil service examination as a competitive and also the nomination examination. And age limit was first set as 23. Later on, it reduced to 19. Only 3 Indian people, they wrote the civil service examination at London. Surendranath Banerjee, Ramesh Chandra Tat and Biharlal Gupta. And who got the success in that? Satyendranath Tagore, who was the elder brother of Rabindranath Tagore, he was the first Indian to pass the ICS examination in 1863. ICS means Indian Civil Service Examination. And so many commissions were formed by the British people like Royal Commission, Montagu Chelmsford Commission and Civil Service Commission, Lee Commission, etc. to make lot of changes in the Indian Civil Service Commissions. And it was mainly introduced in India to serve the British interest. And the second weapon they taken was the important pillar was the army. Lot of changes were made by them. They kept the army as a well trained and disciplined one. They appointed a lot of Indians in the army, but the Indians were less paid. At the beginning, Indians were 86% in total strength of the army was the Indians. But later on, after the Great Revolt in 1857, it was reduced. Only British people were appointed by them. And the third administrative effect was taken by them was the Department of Police, which was under the hand of Faujidar in Mughals, and it was changed from Jamindars to the British hand by the time of the Lord Cornwallis. And he was the real founder of the police system in India, police force in India. He divided the whole empire into Thanas headed by Tarogas. And in the year 1808, Superintendent of Police system was introduced in India. And the judicial system, it's still 1772, there was a dual government in Bengal. It was abolished in 1772 and in 1773 a regulating act was passed. And 2 type of courts, that is the Diwani Adalat and Faujidari Adalat was established by them to deal with the civil and criminal cases respectively. And in 1773 by the regulating act, a Supreme Court was set up at Calcutta with 1 Chief Justice and 3 other judges. And in Madras in 1801 and in Bombay 1823, Supreme Courts were established. And Lord William Bentinck, he took the judiciary in his hand and he formed a law commission. And also in 1861, Indian High Court Act was passed. According to that, 3 high courts were established in India at Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. And who was the first Supreme Court Chief Justice? Sir Elijah Impey. When High Court was started at Madras, who was appointed as the Chief Justice of that, Indian Chief Justice? Sir Thiruvarur Muthuswamy. So children, go through the class carefully and answer all the questions. It may be a fill up or choose, or it may be a math the following. Answer the question given in the homework assignment page. Thank you children.